So y'all might remember this bike, my original Domane that was cracked during travel. And now I'm getting ready to travel again. Not gonna lie, a little nervous about it, but here's how I'm gonna do it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. So as we're talking about traveling with the bike and the things I did differently, one of the first things I did was get a different bike. I got an aluminum bike, which is more durable and more capable of withstanding impact. Now, even though my bike was cracked during travel by the airline, not to say that you can't travel with a carbon bike and it won't be cracked. It has to be aluminum. I traveled 5 times, or that was my 5th flight with my bike, and I never had an issue prior to that time. So sometimes things just happen. Sometimes a person may not take care of your bike the way you would, or not even put it on a person. It could be just a situation where something fell or something like that happened. So let's get into my bike and what I'm going to do differently. I still got the same bike bag, the Scion 3.0 TSA bike bag, and yes, you could go with a hard case. That does require more breaking down of the bike, which means more building up of the bike when you get to your location, which is less time to be able to ride or enjoy the location that you're going to. Nonetheless, we're going to talk about it with this same bag that I used before, and like I said, went ahead and I got an aluminum bike, which is going to be the ALR Emonda, and I put my old components on there to kind of make it an ALR 5 for comparison. But anyways, I went ahead and got that just to make it more durable and to not have to always break down my quote-unquote regular bike. Have a bike that I can just take with me on the go, and not have my only bike sustain damage or a hit, where yes, I am covered now by insurance, but still I gotta wait for the bike. I gotta try to find a bike, which you know how it is nowadays. I'm trying to find a bike. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, one of the first things I did is I reached out to the company, and they did offer extra protection packages for your bike for traveling to the areas that are not protected already by the bike or by the padding that it comes with standard on the bike, which you see right here on the right hand side. That's outside of packaging. Those items came standard. So I'm going to kind of just walk you through me putting the extra padding and extra items onto the bike as I get it ready for travel. Also, one last thing before we get into it, don't forget to insure your bike, especially if you're traveling. I mean, it's good to do it regardless, but if you're traveling and something happens to your bike, you have that kind of ease of protection that's provided by insuring it. But okay, let's go ahead and get on with this build. So the first thing that I do is I do remove the rear derailleur, as it's kind of a real fragile piece, and it won't take much to damage it, to bend it, to break it. So I do go ahead and take it off, as you see me doing here. Also, the packaging does come this rear derailleur protector. Now, the picture, it is attached to the bike. However, I go ahead and remove it and then just stuff the rear derailleur inside the protector, kind of in between the chainstays. And then of course I kind of strap that to the bottom of the bracket that holds the bike in place, so it's not moving all over the place. And I think that's the best way to travel and protect your rear derailleur, so it's not damaged or bent or broken once you arrive to your place. Now that is secured, next thing I do is I lower the seat to the lowest level, and then tighten it so that it's not moving around back and forth. And I use this saddle protector that goes on top of the saddle, and that's mainly so you can strap the straps through it to kind of hold the bike up, and you'll see that towards the end of the video. Now, this kind of like the little secret weapon I kind of got is these pipe insulated, like foam insulation. I guess the proper name is the foam pipe installations, but anyways, these are great to be able to protect your bike and protect the different components of your bike, and they're relatively cheap. You get them at Home Depot. So here you see, you just take the pipes and you just measure it, and cut it with some scissors, and then it kind of just open right up, and then you place it on, you know, the areas of the bike. Here I'm putting it on the C stage, and that's the area that was cracked on my previous bike. So definitely wanted to make sure I protected that area, and you kind of just repeat it, you know, from side to side. And then the company did add those extra padding, which is nowhere near as strong or stable as the pipe insulation. So what I did was I used those extra padding to kind of hold insulation in place and add a different, you know, extra layer of protection as well to the vulnerable areas of the bike. See here, I'm doing it on the forks. Kind of just measure, cut, place on. Simple. Not very hard. I think those installations run for like maybe $2 or so per piece, and they're pretty long. So not an expensive purchase considering what they're going to do, and they're going to protect your bike through travel, through damage, and things of that nature. Now I did use 3/4 of an inch tubing diameter for my bike, and it worked out perfectly, and it covered it well. It wasn't no big overlap, wasn't sagging or hanging. And then here you see the top tube protector, and that's what I used to kind of strap the top tube down. And again, it wasn't really going anywhere, but just added level protection and kind of holding it in place. Next, you see these rear brake levers and gear protector. So that kind of goes over the crank, and we're gonna put it over the crank, kind of wraps around to the back of the bike. It can also cover the rear derailleur as well, get added protection. Even though we removed it, you know, it still gives it protection if you were to keep it on, as you see here. But again, I just find it easier just to remove it. That way it's out of harm's way and it won't get damaged. Next, you see me turning down the handlebars, which is recommended anytime you fly. Just kind of turn them down, so again, so they're not damaged or hit through travel. And then I got these brake lever protectors, and more so that's just for scuffing and scratching them up. It doesn't really add too much protection to it. As you see here, I'm taking my carbon wheels, so I want to protect those. I went ahead and got like a moving box, and went ahead and cut it to shape, and kind of cut the corners so it can kind of fit more like a circle. And then what I did was I put one on each side. So here I'm putting one on the bottom side or the outside of the bag, and then, you know, fit it in there. Then I take my wheel and I bubble wrapped the carbon wheel and slid it in there, and then put another layer of the cardboard protector on the inside part of the bag that's closer to the bike. So then now my wheels are protected, and the bike is protected from the wheels themselves. Now you got the handlebar protectors, and again, that's just more for scratching and scuffing. Go ahead and do the down tube, measure it, cut it, place on. Real simple. Now the down tube one does have some sort of adhesiveness on the pipe insulation that I use, so it can kind of stay in place, since I don't have like a strap or anything to hold it down like I had in other ones. So that kind of worked out pretty well. So here you see me folding over and buckling both sides of the bike, going through the saddle straps, got it all put together, and the bike is ready for travel.
Alright, so we're here at the airport. Dropped the bike off. Hopefully he made it okay. We protected it, so let's see. I'll talk to y'all soon.
And here I am on the plane wondering, what if something happens to my bike? And you know, you can't think like that. Some things are out of your control. You can just do the best that you can do to protect it and hope for the best.
So what's going on, everybody? Just landed in Tenerife. Going to baggage claim to get the bike. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't say I was a little nervous. Hopefully he made it okay. Fingers crossed, let's find out.
So I go ahead and locate my bike, and as I'm approaching it, I'm literally holding my breath. And I check it, and everything seems well. Looking it over, everything seems in place. All the protection and padding I put on pretty much stayed in place to where I put it on. And of course I want to check the seat stays, because that's where my bike was cracked before. So taking off all the padding and protection on it, and you know what, everything looks good. Gotta say that this pipe insulation really did a good job, and by going ahead protecting it, look where it brought us to. Look at this beauty. And I'm not just talking about the bike. I'm talking about the background as well. You know, and that's another thing. Just traveling with your bike, it brings a whole different element to your travels. And I'm going to make a video more specifically on that itself. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, drop a thumbs up. That way I know that you enjoyed it, and YouTube knows it, and they'll show it to other people as well. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to be left out missing on these videos because you're not subscribed. All right, until next time, I'm going to talk to y'all soon. I'll keep on riding and be safe.